and organize data systematically. They'll know from that, and finally they'll know why we are conducting research. That should be known in this module. If you want to more skill set, you have to conduct practical in manner. Hello dear students, welcome to our course Business Research Methods. I am Devendra Sumappa, faculty in Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Before we begin today, let me ask you simple questions. Have you ever wondered why do some businesses become highly successful while others fail? How does company know what customers actually want? Why do some businesses can launch only one product instead of another's? How does a researchers can predict a future market trends? Yes, the answer to all these questions is research. Yes, business decision, it should not be based on any guesses. It should be based on the real facts, the data, the analysis and the evidence. That is exactly what you will learn in this course, Business Research Methods. Yes, this is for BBA 5th semester. Let's get into this. This is the agenda for this course. We will be having syllabus, learning outcome, the units and the internals and exam patterns. We will know one by one. See, this is the syllabus. Business Research Methods includes, will be consist of total 5 modules. In that 5 modules, the first one, it is introductions to business research. The second one, research problem and the design. And the third one, data collections and measurement. And the fourth one, the sampling techniques. And the module number 5, data analysis and report writing. So these are all the 5 important modules that includes in the business research methods. Let's go one by one. So before getting to the syllabus, you will be knowing after the completion of this course, the students should be able to know the basics or fundamentals of business research. They'll understand what is actually the business research and why it is conducted. And they will know what are the role it is taking under the managerial decision making skills. And the students will identify the research problem and the designs will conduct for a research proposals. What are all the major designs which will be included in the research proposals, and the students will know and they'll collect measure data using appropriate research tools. What are all the major tools that are included in the business research, they will know from this module. And they will apply suitable sampling methods and organize data systematically. They'll know from that. And finally, they'll know analyzing data using simple statistical tools to prepare structured research report. From finally, they get to know how to report or how to write a business report in this model. Yes, let's get into one by one. This is the first module. From this, we'll know the introductions is nothing but the foundations. From this, the students will understand the meaning and the importance of business research. Why the business research is important, what are all the meaning and the basic fundamentals about the business research will be known from this model. And what are all the major types that included. As we know that there is a basic or fundamental and applied research will be there. The qualitative research will be there. This is based on the behaviors, and the quantitative research. This is purely related on the numerical data. These are all the major 4 important types that included in the business research. So then the move on to steps, the process will be included in the research. What are all the major steps that will be comes under the research process will be known, and mainly the ethical issues in business research. What are all the major ethics they have to follow, and what they will be issues be arising from the business research will be known from this model. And finally, role of research in business decision making. What is the major role? Why it is business research important? that will be known from this first module. So after the completion of this first module, the student will understand the foundations of this course, and along with the ethics and measures types the researchers should use, that will be considered in the first module. So then move on to the second module. It will be purely related on research problem and design. So in this model, they have to identify what is the problem actually facing. Say for an example, in a supermarket, if the sales are declining, the researcher or the supermarketer, the manager has to identify the problem, why the sales is declining. So this is the kind of a problem they'll identify in this model. For that, they have to conduct some literature review. Based on that, they will be knowing the meaning and importance of literature review. So then, identification of research problem. As I told earlier, this is the major and first foremost steps. They have to identify the problem, what it is actually happening. As I told earlier, the sales is declining in supermarket. The manager should know why the sales are declining. That will be get to know from this particular module. And the statement of the problem, we have to write what is the statement and the objectives of research. The major objectives, why we are conducting research, that should be known in this module. And the basically meaning and need for research design. What are all the structures, formats we'll be using to write a design in the particular chapter. So then finally we'll be know the types of research design. See, in the previous module, we'll be know what are all the types will be included in the research. Here you'll be know the research design types. In that, exploratory designs, descriptive, and the casual designs will be then. So all about will be understand the basic concept oriented types of research design will be known from this module. And finally, basic structure of a research proposal. They have to write a proposal, research proposals in this module. So these are all the major elements that included in the second module. So then move on to the third module. It will be purely related on data collections and measurement. So for a researchers, it's a very important thing that they have to collect data. So in that, what are all the sources of data collections will be there? In that we'll be having primary and secondary data. Primary, the researchers has to do a new. Secondary, it's already collected. So for that, we'll be know more about this primary and secondary data. We'll be dividing primary data collections. In that primary data collections, we have to conduct some survey, interview based on the observation, based on some questionnaire design. So these are all the major primary data collections tools we'll get to know, we'll get the information from that. So then there will be types of questions, the principles of a good questionnaires. What are all the major set of principles we have to follow to set a questionnaires will be known from this particular elements. So here we have to do based on the survey, interview, questionnaire. These are the major important tools that included in the primary data collections. From sources of secondary data collections, from these will be known that the measurement and scaling techniques. In that there will be nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio scales along with the Rickert scales. These are all the major sources that included in the secondary data collections. So basically in this particular third module, we will know that what are the major sources. In that sources there will be primary and secondary. Based on that, what are all the major elements that included in the primary data collections, and along with that in that secondary data collections. So yes. So then move on to the fourth module. We'll be having the sampling techniques. Sampling techniques, it includes meaning and importance of sampling. In the sense, what is the populations we have to selecting, why we are selecting that particular sample. So these kind of activities will be included in the sampling techniques. We'll be know more about what is actually the sampling techniques, the meaning and the basic importance will be included in this chapter. and we'll know the differences between the census and the sampling. What is the major differences? What is census? What is sampling? What is these objectives and the importance? Everything will be known from this census versus sampling. And the next one, the sampling process. How we are going to conduct a sampling process. What is the steps we have to follow? That will be comes under the sampling process. And afterwards we'll be having several types of sampling. In that, the probability sampling will be there, simple random sampling will be there, and the systematic, non-probability, convenience, judgment, quota factors affecting sample size. So these are all the major types that included in the sampling techniques. So these are the, in this particular module we will be know about the meaning, the census versus sampling, and the major process that included in the sampling, and the types, what are all the major types which will be included in the sampling. This is the fourth module. It consists of all these elements. So then move on to the fifth and last module, data analysis and report writing. After the collections of data, after doing kind of a sampling, finally we are going to do the analysis. How we are going to analyze the data and write a report will be known from this fifth module. In this will be know from coding and decoding, editing, tabulations and classifications. Based on this particular techniques, we will be writing or making data analysis. So then finally data presentations will be there. In that there will be table, charts, diagrams. These are all the several elements that included in the data presentations. So then move on to SPSS will be there. In that we'll be having interface features along with the data analysis, interpretations, findings and the finally conclusions. We are going with it, introductions to SPS along with the data analysis. Then finally structure of research report. So then finally we'll be writing representations of research findings. What are the major findings we'll be getting from that particular research. So these are all the major elements that included in the data analysis and report writing model. So total 5 modules will be there, from beginning introductions to research to data analysis and report writing. So then move on to skill development activities. From this, if you want to more skill set, we have to conduct practical in manner. We have to conduct some interviews. We'll go with some Google literature review or design with some questionnaires. So based on this, we'll be improvising our skill set. We can increase automatically. The skill will be developed. So then move on to the internals part. It consists of total 30 marks. In this 30 marks, we'll be having 2 internals 1 and 2. For that internals 1, it will be unit 1 and 2. And for 2, 3, 4 and 5th unit will be included. So along with that, Viva, assignments and seminars will be included here. So then move on to the main examinations pattern. So here it will be for 100, total 100 marks. In that 80 marks is a main written examinations and 20 will be from internals. By adding all these two, you will be getting 100 marks. So from the part A, 30 marks, there will be 15 marks questions into 2 questions we have to write, you will be getting 30. So then in the part B, 10 marks questions will be there. In the part B, 10 marks questions into 3 questions we have to write, you will be getting 30 marks. In the part C, 5 marks questions, we have to write 4 questions, so then 20 marks. By adding all these 3, total 80 marks we supposed to write in the main examinations. Yes. So then for this particular subject, I suggest you refer Meenakshi Raman, Urmila Rai and N.S. Raghunathan. This is the best book you have to refer for this course. Thank you. We'll see you in the next class.